Check out Fourth World Comics at 33 Route 111, Smithtown, New York. Long Island's source for comics, toys, games, comic supplies, manga, and statues. Special events for December include the monthly sale and Star Wars Force Awakens screening event. Check in store or fourthworldcomics.com for details.
You're listening to the Geek Gods Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Geek Gods Podcast, Episode 6. Today, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite galaxy from far, far away, Star Wars. I'm your host, Ashish Thomas.
I'm Sheila O'Neill.
Glen Wolfe.
Rich Lynch.
And you can find us all on the geekgods.com or at Sheila's website, SheilaO'Neill.com, Glen's site, Platinum Wolf Studios, or Rich's site on Facebook and Twitter. So let's get started. So, recently the trailer for Star Wars The Force Awakens came online, and it's caused a little bit of an uproar based on the fact that everyone heard things and saw things, but despite the fact that we saw like the female Jedi and Daisy Ridley and John Boyega, we did not see Luke Skywalker in the trailer. And it was supposed to say that that was done on purpose. J.J. Abrams said that was done on purpose. Typical J.J. Lens flare here. So what do you guys think about the new Star Wars coming up, and what do you feel about it? Are you apprehensive? Are you okay? Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think it's going to be in line with the prequels that don't exist?
There were prequels? I never... don't know what you're talking about. Rich does, I'm sure. But I'm super stoked that we have a female protagonist and a black protagonist. I think that's great. I think we talked about this a lot in the diversity episode. But just the fact that the new female Jedi is like the biggest non-masked character on the poster, that makes me all kinds of happy just for that alone. But I'm starting to feel better about the movie. When we first heard there was going to be a new Star Wars movie, I know I was mostly apprehensive, but I think Disney's done some good stuff with its Marvel properties. Not all good, but, I think it definitely has potential.
Yes, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to, no matter what, they're going to make money off of it.
Well, yeah.
They've
already made money off of it with all of the merch. That is the Star Wars way.
How many tickets did you guys buy?
6. A 6-pack. Yeah.
I just got the one. But okay.
No, I'm actually... It's kind of funny. My local comic book shop, Fourth World, is having a screening in our town, and I'm actually going to go to that screening on IMAX.
That's super legit.
So that's pretty cool that they're going to have the screening for Star Wars, and the tickets are still available for that at Fourth World if you want.
Cool.
But
I'll be in California, but thanks.
I am excited for the Star Wars. I'm a bit apprehensive. I mean, I can't see Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill lasting past this movie. It's just funny. And I thought the funniest thing I saw was the fact that my friend brought this up. Chewbacca hasn't aged.
Not a bit.
You'd think some gray would have come in by now or something.
Chewbacca is actually like 400 years old. They don't really talk about that ever, but it's totally true. Look it up.
He is. I knew that.
Making it up, I think.
You're not. I know that he's 400 years old.
Well, I mean, Yoda's super old, and he aged between the prequels that don't exist and the movies that do.
It's true. He developed actual skin and got a guy's hand up his butt.
Yeah, puppeteering, yo. The clinical term for that is puppeteering.
Is that so?
That's what I've been told.
I thought it was fisting, but...
Well, if it's a puppet, it has to be puppeteering.
Oh, okay. That's the distinction. I didn't realize.
The puppet part of it is... And...
I'll edit that out.
Oh, keep it in.
I'm just kidding.
This is just fun. Hey, listen.
What's our demographic? Are we the 13 and up demographic, or
I think we're everyone. I think we put it as we're everyone. Star Wars goes to everyone.
Everyone.
So,
Literally everyone. Hello, Mr. President.
I didn't say please don't come after me. I didn't do that. But that was the other thing people are now speculating about Luke because he's not on the poster. Some people, because in the old canon that got deleted, that sort of they're not counting as canon anymore. The extended universe, there was parts where Luke did turn bad, and he was sorted to the dark side, and he had a son, and Chewbacca died. Those are the big highlights from that.
And he had such a short life.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
we need to worry about anything ridiculous like that happening with Luke right now. Disney knows how to handle its property, and as much as people like a good twist, especially JJ, people also like not destroying beloved characters. And
False. Not everyone likes that. I'm going to refer you to Misters Whedon and R.R. Martin.
I'm going to refer you to the Disney Corporation. You can't say anything bad about, I don't know, anything they own.
Or have done.
God forbid you accidentally, put Mickey Mouse in a negative situation.
There are those films out there, people. You can go find them.
Also, Rowling.
True.
But
Because I think that's one of the things that makes Harry Potter so much better than, let's say, Twilight, is that characters actually die when they're put in deadly situations. Crazy.
Okay, so if acknowledged Twilight in the Star Wars episode, that's good.
well, let's bring this back. It's crashing. We're crashing.
I really think that they should bring Bella into the Star Wars canon because I think her struggle to choose between whether she loves Chewbacca or Han Solo will really bring that new love triangle that the series was always lacking.
Well, they sort of did have their version of a Twilight character in that Jar Jar Binks. Did you guys see the new theory on Jar Jar Binks?
I love it.
I'm friends with Rich, so...
So that whole premise that Jar Jar is secretly the antagonist of the entire Star Wars saga
is everything he's ever been waiting for.
It's fascinating.
It made sense to me.
I can't see them doing it, but honestly, if they did, I don't really know how I'd react to it. Part of me wants to say that I'd hate that and that's dumb, but at the same time, it would be like, well, everyone hates Jar Jar, and now you have a reason to. And everyone would just be like so blown away. Plus, wasting Andy Serkis on Jar Jar, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it never made sense to me with Jar Jar, And then when I read the whole Jar Jar is a Sith, and I read back, and it's a very compelling argument, to say the least. I mean, you can make compelling arguments about anything these days, but there was actually some thought behind it. That's the thing I liked about it. It wasn't just he's a Sith, and this is he actually backed up what he was saying with the fact that Jar Jar is the one who appoints Palpatine to the Senate to take over.
That's true.
And certain things like that, and it's like. And the fact that him and Palpatine were friends, so to speak, are allies. So the
evidence is Palpatine-able.
It is.
Ha 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 ha.
That was maybe the most awkward pun I've ever made in my life. No, it isn't.
No.
The most awkward pun I ever made was sabotage. I hardly know a Taj.
That will let it out. No, so... And Rich, you better sit down for this. Glenn has a confession to make about Star Wars that you may not.
Star
Is anyone
Wars?
not already sitting?
Give me a second. Okay.
You might want to mute me. Star Wars is my favorite movie of all time. No, it's actually, I'm just not into it. I'm sorry.
He doesn't like Galaxy Far, Far Away.
No.
So, have you seen them?
I've seen the old ones. Yeah. I've seen some of the old ones. I haven't seen
some of. There are 3.
There's 3.
You should be able to give me an exact number.
5 old ones, Sheila. Everyone knows that. There are 2 feature-length Ewok movies, plus a Christmas special, if you really want to get complicated.
Richard Maxwell Lynch.
Maxwell.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, the Christmas special
I will
doesn't
bring
count.
your own silver hammer down upon your head.
See,
My favorite part of Star Wars is when
Uh-oh.
Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog, goes to the premiere of one of the newer ones. I think it was like the first new one or second new one.
get out,
I'm sorry.
get
That's
out.
my favorite part of Star Wars.
I know I'm in your house, but get out.
Or when Veronica Mars and friends had to go and find the first cut of the movie because one of the friends was dying, so they had to steal it.
Was that who was in that movie?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was fanboys, and
I like that one.
and I like the fact that that actually happened. Like,
Yeah.
it happened in real life. Now, what I was saying was, I wish that kid would just go and spoil the whole movie for everyone. Just be like, it's so good. It was terrible. But I'm really glad Disney did that for him. But Disney probably has like 2 guards at his house at all times. Like, what are you typing? What are you doing? Don't go near that computer.
Just block him from Twitter.
Does it block him from like all social media? They won't let him he can't log in till after the movie comes out because he's the first person to see it. But it is interesting with the Luke's. So Rich, since you are a big Star Wars fan, what theories have you heard about with Luke Skywalker, and which do you think are close to what's going to happen in the movie?
So
No spoilers.
Personally, for me, and this is really kind of going off of very little, the one thing we actually know about Luke, which is super vague, is that we've seen his lightsaber that he lost in Empire Strikes Back in the trailer several times, which it could be significant. We have no idea how they got it. It fell into a big pit. But that seems to be kind of the major plot point that they're working off of. From what I can tell, and based off of what we've kind of heard about this movie, I think that they're trying to leverage Luke into the sort of Obi-Wan position for this one. So maybe he'll die or something and then be a ghost for the other movies.
I was thinking the
I
same.
just want to put this out there. Obie Two.
Not bad.
Oh,
I'll
good Lord.
edit that one out.
We should just have a
you
counter.
dare.
Ding.
I'm gonna have a soundboard of me
Ding.
speaking, so I don't have to actually say it. I'm just gonna hit a button.
You're gonna have to. You need a separate buzz so that people know that this is the one for puns.
But yes, he's
Pun
over
alert.
to,
Pun alert.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some mysteries that were raised, like how C-3PO got the red arm. It's gonna be interesting to see that.
Oh, we know that. He fell in a bucket of paint.
Well, that's how they came up with the design
Space
for it.
paint.
It's hard to get off, and it stays really nice.
And I think, are we going to find out? Are we going to see R2-D2's illegitimate children in this one?
We already have. What do you think that little
The little
guy
hamster
is?
ball thing.
I know. I just want to say it. I was trying not to spoil for people, but that might be R2-D2's illegitimate son, or robot. Hey, listen, he put his stuff in. He's the filthiest.
Nice.
He's the filthiest character in Star Wars. I mean, everything he says is bleeped. So, I mean, he's one of those guys. I mean,
It could just be all puns.
Honestly, I think the thing that excites me right now is we still don't really know anything about this movie. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that. I
Yeah.
wish that were the case with more movies, honestly, where you didn't know exactly what was going to happen from the trailer. You just sort of get the feel of it and decide
yeah, I think
want to go.
it's been interesting because everyone's speculating, but no one knows for sure. And you're going to see a lot of
The
people.
cast knows.
I don't even
Nah.
think they know. I think JJ probably gave them all parts of the script. Like, okay, you get this part, you get this part. I'm not telling you what the ending is.
Oh, I don't know. It's not The Room.
See, if the acting was really stilted, it's probably because they were all wearing earplugs and couldn't hear each other.
But
I think, honestly, for all the speculation, we really won't know until the movie comes out. And with such little information, I think it could easily go either way. I think this has the potential to be a really good movie. I also think it has the potential to be another enormous disappointment. And
yeah.
I think it's good that George Lucas doesn't have a huge influential role, but he's kind of there because that's what made the first one's good is before they just handed the reins to him and said, "Here, do anything you want and no one will fight you."
Well, the rumor is they put Lucas in carbonite so that he wouldn't have any say or do anything to get into this movie.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely, they understand how people feel about the prequels. I think it's hard not to know how those went over with the fan base. So I think with that insight and hindsight, they kind of have some ideas of what to avoid, but...
Yeah, I think the prequels, they were a great idea, but the execution just wasn't there. Like, I remember seeing the second one, the day I saw all the prequels the day it came out, and I remember walking out of there, first time ever in a movie, and I was just so upset because of what I just seen. And I remember telling my friend, I'm like, it's an effing love story. It's not even, like, what the hell did they do? I actually hated Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen for the longest while after that movie. I would refuse to see them in anything.
Boycotted Sand for...
Well, Hayden Christensen...
Honestly, and I think maybe this is just like, something about my age. I kind of always was able to actually, like, I don't know, turn a nostalgic eye to the prequels and just kind of accept them in, like, the broader context of their Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I'll watch these even though everyone says they're terrible. And
I don't think they're terrible. I think just what people were hoping for, what people wanted out of those prequels, they didn't get. Instead, we got effing metachlorians. What the hell's a metachlorian anyway? It's like, thank God they have no metachlorians in this movie.
That's something that, people years later can use thinking they're using a scientific term and not understanding that it's a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which is nice, I suppose.
What I am hoping for, I don't think I'm going to get, I was just hoping to see like Jar Jar Binks in the background somewhere and be like, I'm still here.
There was a rumor that JJ was going to like bury Jar Jar's skeleton in like the background of one of these scenes.
That would be
definitively.
See, I wouldn't do that. I'd just keep him alive and be like, he needs to live forever or something like that. It'd just be funny as hell.
He's the Kenneth Parcel of Star Wars.
So to speak, that would be funny. It's like,
hey, stop insulting my Kenneth.
Or maybe I'm complimenting Jar Jar.
You could. I think you're complimenting Jar Jar.
Neither is okay.
I'll allow it.
Neither option is acceptable.
But I think you're guaranteed, no matter how well they write it and do it, some of the fan base is going to be disappointed in it. That's the thing about these kind of movies. No matter, even if you knock it out of the park, somebody's going to be upset with it. Someone's going to have, you didn't do this right. There's no Lando. Certain things like that people might get upset about.
If I wanted to get really nitpicky, I could talk about how I feel like the cinematography is all off in the trailers we've seen, and it doesn't look like they're using matte paintings, and some of the shots look too wide, and that frightens me.
If I don't see a star wipe, I'm out.
Yeah, there
lens
have
flare.
to be wipes.
I need to see lens flares, like a whole trillion bunch of them.
Well, have I got some good news for you, my friend?
And
Mr. Abrams is on your side.
Yes.
The thing that actually has me the most excited, though, and I can never remember his name, is the team that they already are putting together for the next movie. Sounds great, and they have Does anyone remember this director's name? He did a bunch of the episodes of Breaking Bad that are like the most iconic ones. He directed the Fly episode.
I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name.
I can't remember his name, but they already have him signed on to direct the next one.
Well, remember,
and that's going to be so cool.
Originally, the person who was supposed to direct that was the guy who directed Fantastic Four. Jonathan Trask. And then after the shitstorm from that movie, they were just like, we're not letting you anywhere near Fantastic Four. I mean, nowhere near. I think it's called Rogue One. Is the
Rian Johnson.
Rogue One is being directed by the guy who made Godzilla now.
Yeah.
I believe.
Rian Johnson is the guy directing Episode 8.
Episode 8.
Yes. So.
Rogue One also looks really cool. And we get Alan Tudyk in a Star Wars movie.
I am always happy with Alan Tudyk.
Anything Alan Tudyk's going to be good, so it's okay. But it's like, I give him credit for doing this. For me, this would be so much pressure just because the fan base is so huge and so involved and so. It's like I don't know how JJ sleeps at night. He's probably like having nightmares, going, "What am I doing?"
I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that they've already started filming the episode 8 before episode 7's come out, because I feel like it would be helpful to get the fan response and keep that in mind for the next one.
Yeah, normally movies that do that, they don't usually do well. The only one I can think of is Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Right, but that they really had the whole story ready to go.
Yeah, they had one pretty much done.
Yeah,
but,
I think that's basically Back to the Future trilogy is, it's a full story that's just told in 3 movies, I feel. So that seems different to me than a thing like Star Wars.
It does seem a little scary how fast they are pumping out these movies. And honestly, I don't know how they're going to be able to recreate the hype that they have for this when episode 8 comes out next year.
I think what the thing is...
I'm sure they won't be able to, because it won't be the new after all this time thing.
And I think
everyone will have seen this one and have opinions on it.
I think it might turn some people off because once they see 7, they might not give 8 a chance. Mm-hmm. So it's a big gamble they're doing right now by doing this. But I think they feel that they have such a built-in fan base that they're going to make money hand over fist regardless. Did you see, I went to the store. I didn't realize it was the toy release day in September that they had.
Force Friday, I remember.
Friday. I went to Target and it was, the toy section looked like it was ripped apart. All these Star Wars fans were around. It was just it was crazy.
Yeah.
So
I think Disney's definitely got so many different really powerful and popular subsidiaries right now that they are, I think, getting cockier than they've ever been. And so far it's been working for them. And I wonder if that will wear off or if it'll just keep working for them with all of their giant Marvel schedules and Star Wars-ness.
See, I think it's just interesting to see that, like you say, because they have all these schedules for all these Marvel movies. To me, some of the Marvel movies blended in together, and they're starting to look. So they got to differentiate that. So I don't know.
I am really starting to not care about all the Marvel movies.
I'm going to watch Doctor Strange because I think that's an interesting story, and it's going to be fun. But even Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I'm okay. I'm I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna run out to see it.
I'll probably see it because it has Chris Pratt, and I like Chris Pratt.
But like I said, the Marvel movies have got to start bringing some different, as we talked about last week, diversity. Yeah,
I feel like
it feels like there's a lack of it going on there.
I feel like I watch Guardians of the Galaxy more because I like Parks and Rec than because I like Marvel. If we're being perfectly honest.
And I think that's actually one of the reasons why I watch it is Chris Pratt. That's one of the reasons why I've watched the movie a couple times. I mean, I loved it in the theaters, but I think Marvel, even Age of Ultron, I threw that on. It's a good movie, but it's missing something.
Yeah, it's missing the soul of Joss Whedon.
I can see that.
It's all of the outer casings of Joss Whedon, but Marvel kind of sucked out the middle bits. I feel
you can
in technical terms, of course.
Well, you can see Marvel these days, all these big name directors refuse to work with them now. They get signed on to the movies, they do the thing, but then when they see what it's like, they leave.
Yeah.
The Selma director left after she was just I can't do this.
Ultimately, I feel like that has to change for the Disney model in this day and age to be sustainable.
Hopefully Star Wars is going to learn from that.
Hopefully.
I think Star Wars...
They should bring on Joss Whedon. I want to see a Joss Whedon directed Star Wars film so bad. So bad.
Yeah.
Maybe after episode 7 comes out and people actually are somewhat okay with it, hopefully, we'll be able to get more directors involved.
Yeah, but do you think Josh would want to do another Disney movie? I think he's burnt out.
He already said he wanted to do a Star Wars movie. But
Star Wars is still not Disney.
Yeah.
Even though they're one company, kind of.
Well, I think you're going to see that as the movie comes out, you're going to see the changes and you're going to see Disney's influence over it.
I don't know if I'd worry about that so much, at least not yet. it took forever for Disney to even really like cross over into Marvel lines with like Big Hero 6, which actually acknowledged Disney at all.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see. And what do you think about what's going to happen with Harrison Ford? Han Solo and Leia and that storyline.
So Harrison Ford has famously said in every movie he's ever been iconically cast in that he wants his character to die. Maybe they'll grant him his wish.
So he basically wants the Bill Murray and Ghostbusters treatment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean,
Should we be concerned about Harrison Ford, do you think?
No, they took away his pilot's license.
Did they take away his pilot's license?
I think he's not allowed to fly when he's on contract for a film.
Yeah, because I saw the interview he did with, I think it was Jimmy Fallon, and he said he doesn't even have memories of the crash itself. And they said there was like retrograde, and he's like, he remembers he was in the plane, he remembers flying, he doesn't remember crashing that much. It could be a bit for the show, but
It's all a big scam.
But for
This
me,
is a conspiracy. It goes all the way to the top of the atmosphere that we're
so I'm like, of course, the guy who is flying the Millennium Falcon can't fly. It's kind of funny. He's not allowed. He has screamed amnesia. But I'm like, my prediction is, I have a feeling with their storyline, they may last maybe one more, but that's about it. I can't see them doing like another 3 movies.
I think we'll find out that Han Solo and Leia are actually also related, and Leia will just continually need to keep going from boyfriend to boyfriend until there's someone she's not having an incestuous relationship with. But that's just my theory as someone who's never read any outside of the movies, Star Wars novels or comics.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Actually, like, talking about, like, people involved with Star Wars' age, I think one of my biggest concerns is what do we do after John Williams? He's, like, 93 now, and they expect him to score who knows how many more movies, at least 2 more.
Does he have any children? Does he have anyone we can clone?
I have no idea.
I believe we're going to need to do a dollhouse scenario here and sacrifice a younger person and just put his entire personality into that body.
I'm up for that.
That's going to have to happen. Because
You're up for being the body or for that happening? Do we have a volunteer already?
No, I mean, being John Williams, I could live with it, I guess.
Well, do you get the money associated with John Williams?
I mean,
get
your
to
body.
be John Williams. But yeah, John
All you
Williams.
have to do is crawl through this little door. And
I get to be him for 30 minutes.
That reminds
Makes
me.
sense.
Angela, when you listen to this podcast, please return my Dollhouse Season 1 and 2 DVDs to me. Thank you.
Hi, specific person.
hi, Mr. President.
The other one that actually I always wonder about is what they're going to do with C-3PO. Because he's a droid, but again, they've been using Anthony Daniels for 40 years. And it's going to be super weird if he suddenly changes his voice.
It hasn't been weird for the Muppets.
True.
It has been, though.
No, it has been. That's why I was saying it. That's why I said it. Rich just fell in the trap. But no, it's the thing is, I think you can. I guess you can manipulate his voice, or just it's because you have recordings of his voice, so they can cut it and paste it.
Oh, that'd be
Seinfeld vision.
That would be very tedious.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he gets
just
punched in the throat and suddenly has a different voice, and they just go with that.
They could just do what Night Vale did when they switched Carlos's voice, and it could either be throat spiders, or a scientist has to regularly change their vocal cords,
or
because of the throat spiders.
Or something happens to
This applies to
C-3PO,
droids.
gets kicked in the throat, and I was talking differently.
Because of the throat spiders.
Yes, we changed
on Endor.
Oh my god, we have to rebuild C-3PO again. And put it back together. Something's off with his voice. We'll fix it later. They can do the Bumblebee-esque thing with him where he talks television. Oh god, we brought in, not only did we bring Twilight into this, we brought in freaking Transformers. We're terrible people.
Just reminding everyone that there are things worse than the Phantom Menace, Sheila.
No, that's not true. Has anyone read the Marvel comics that they brought in?
I've read the first couple trades, actually. I thought I think what they've been doing is super interesting.
I've been
Sorry,
a
go on.
fan. No, I've been
Yeah.
a fan. I think the one thing I get a little concerned about is now like Chewbacca has a monthly series. And like,
Is there any dialogue in it, or do they just write out a bunch of R's?
no, there's that's the funny thing. There is dialogue in it. Maybe that's why it doesn't feel right. But Leia has a series, and I don't know if anyone saw the report this week. Disney's getting rid of Slave Leia. Supposedly, the rumor is.
It's about time, right?
I never really liked the cat like Slave Leia. Never really.
Wait, getting rid of how? That's my question.
You're not allowed to put her image in any of the comics. You're not allowed to set statues with her likeness on it in Slave Leia.
Okay,
And-
that makes sense. I mean, I think we've all had enough of Slave Leia.
I think, yeah, at this point, I've seen so many cosplayers do it. And it's just funny. Like, people in an uproar about it. I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah,
it might be a good thing not to have it because
Yeah.
it's never really certain. Like, I don't know what the purpose was for that, you know? Except for the fact that she was a slave to Jabba. Ugh, it was,
Oh, come now.
and I never really understood that. And also, one thing I want to ask: do you guys think we'll see Boba Fett in this one? Because in the
That is a heated question.
that is because in the extended universe that we used to have, he escapes the Sarlacc pit. Mm-hmm. And Glen's looking at me like, "What the hell is a Sarlacc pit?"
I think he escapes the Sarlacc pit and immediately falls into another Sarlacc pit and dies in that one.
That could be funny. That would be funny if they just.
I'm just going to make my own extended Star Wars universe where Princess Leia is closely related to every guy she's ever attracted to, and Boba Fett dies in a second Sarlacc pit.
Do you think she starts seeing psychiatric treatment for that?
No, it's why she becomes evil.
It's because she was cursed by Maleficent as a child. This is canon because I can do any Disney crossovers I want. And Han Solo is friends with Batman.
Sure.
Well, which Batman? There's like 10 billion of them.
All of them.
Michael Keaton Batman,
All the
Christian Bale
Batsmen.
Batman, Ben Affleck Batman.
It's only a matter of time before Disney gets DC too.
Yeah, I've already made peace with that because I have a feeling that's going to happen. Because Warner Brothers is losing way too much money on them. Rumor. I don't
Oh
know.
no, we have the inside scoop over here.
We have no inside scoop.
Say everything with authority.
I know exactly what's going to happen, so everyone get ready for a wonderful new Star Wars film followed by the Trump presidency.
Is
The
Ben
last
Carson going to be
good
vice
thing
president?
we ever have.
You know what? The scary thing is I was watching CNBC yesterday, and I heard the jobs report, and that was just like, they're like, oh, the economy is so great, the jobs report is great. I'm like, And then I heard the thing about Trump and Ben Carson, and Carson lying and Trump calling him out on it, and I'm like,
Wait, are we talking about politics on a Star Wars?
well, I'm going to turn it back to Star Wars in a second. It reminds, so who's going to be the next emperor? See? Who's going to be the
Max von
next
Sydow, the priest from The Exorcist.
Wow. Maxwell. Dude, that guy, if any guy looks like an evil character played evil guy, that guy looks like he just played like the villain in every character. I'd cast him as the villain in everything I do. He looks like a villain. He was the villain in Rush Hour 3. I can't think of everything I've seen him in, he's been a villain. Or just misunderstood.
It'll be interesting to see what approach they take to that, because I'm kind of happy it sounds like they're not going to go with the Emperor cloning himself to keep being the bad guy thing, because that would get stale.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's the Emperor. I mean, it's like, oh wait, the guy looks exactly like the same. It's the Emperor. But I kind of miss that Emperor. Like, the actor who played the Emperor was such a good actor in that role.
Ian McDermott.
He's
still around. He's actually also said that he would love to reprise his character. So
yeah, but how?
And he crawls up out from the lightning attack being thrown over and canceled, and then he falls into a Sarlacc pit.
there's just Sarlacc pits on every planet.
Yep.
And then Boba
It's
Fett
a
and
real
him fly.
problem.
And then Boba Fett and him fly out together, and they get gay married.
Sarlacc pits are the gopher holes of galaxy far, far away.
So that's how that ending's going to be for that movie. They get together from being in the Sarlacc pit and happily married.
And people were scared about Jar Jar coming back.
Well, but the other thing I noticed is a lot of people are signing this declaration for no spoilers after seeing the movie. I'm like, some idiot's going to put it out there because everyone loves attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought everyone saw The Walking Dead, and then I put my picture up, and then I had people in a huff about that. And I still see people in a huff, and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I forget about the West Coast. No offense. I forget about the West Coast.
West Coast, best coast.
It's far away.
It's
East
far
Coast,
away.
East Coast.
You live on the East Coast now, Sheila.
California represent.
Sheila, you live on the East Coast now.
Yeah, but that's a very small percentage compared to how long I lived on the West Coast.
But I do agree. The West Coast. I do love the West Coast every time I'm there. But I forget. Sometimes I forget that the West Coast hasn't seen something because they're 3 hours behind. And I get my friend texting me going, "Thanks a lot. I didn't see this." I'm like, "Well, you're not going to watch this now that you know this?" Like, for me, spoilers don't work because I'll still watch what I want to watch. And
I actually really like the time difference when I'm in California because we have a couple channels that we get the channel in East Coast time. So I can actually watch, like, The Daily Show at a reasonable hour.
Oh.
We watch The Daily Show at, like, 8, and it's wonderful.
I think that's one of the shows I think if they put it on earlier broadcasts, it would do a little better. But
honestly, it should just be on all day.
See, that's the other
Daily
thing.
Show.
They shouldn't have CNN or Fox or CNBC. Just have the Daily Show give us the political news. I think
we're back to politics on Star Wars.
So
you know what Star Wars movies were really good at that?
Shut up.
I don't know which movies are
Anyone
those.
cares about watching legislative decisions happening in a movie that doesn't have Daniel Day-Lewis.
No, they don't.
I don't know. Neil said it was his favorite movie.
Neil whom?
Oh, Patrick Harris.
Said which was his favorite movie?
Said all of the prequels. I've seen How I Met Your Mother.
I think I'm going to have to get rid of him now.
Okay, Barney Stinson is not the same as Neil Patrick Harris.
That's
Barney
a difference.
Stinson thinks that Hans Gruber is the main character in Die Hard because he's the one who dies hard.
He also went for the blonde kid instead of the Karate Kid. He thought the blonde kid...
I've seen a convincing YouTube video on that, actually.
I don't know. You can't beat Ralph Macchio. I'm sorry. He is the Karate Kid. But, no, it's... the other thing they haven't really focused on is who the villain for the story is.
I don't think it matters.
No one's
There's
really
a war
said it.
in the stars.
The Alliance.
But, it's kind of funny. It's like, you have Captain Plasma, who people are talking about. Not really talking about, but, the guy with the three-sided lightsaber who everyone freaked out about. Trying to figure out, wait, can they have... Why is that guard there? So he doesn't.
I think Stephen Colbert proved that this is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, which is like I was laughing when people went up in arms about that. I'm like, it looks cool. Do you really care about the crossbars lightsaber? No.
Up in arms, but down in fingers because they've lost several to that cross thing.
Exactly. So it's just it's interesting to see. I wonder if we're going to see any throwbacks to like Yoda, Anakin, and Obi-Wan.
I think there's a good chance that we actually might see some of the prequel cast show up in some of these movies at some point. The comics have already shown that they're not afraid to acknowledge like anything that happened in the prequels, at least to try and improve it. I remember if anyone's read the Darth Vader comic, there's actually a rather interesting bit where Vader just randomly walks up to a droid and starts fixing it. And
yeah, I've seen that.
He never says anything about it, but it's totally implied that this is something that was kind of established in the prequels. We might as well use it and try to make it, something useful.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, so we'll see how
I
it
kind of
goes.
like Padme. when she's not being a little romantic, whiny scene person.
No,
As a
I
general
don't know who that person
idea.
is.
Okay, but as a
Gwen
general
definitely
idea
does.
of a character without the specifics of the dialogue, I kind of like her.
Yeah, I mean, she grows on you in certain aspects of it. The fact that, but that one, her death scene just is comedic to me. I'm sorry.
No, true.
It's
True,
just,
true.
they made that, like, that was supposed to be the scene where it was supposed to be so, like, sensitive, you feel bad, and you just look at it going, she's lost the will to live. You just laugh.
She's lost the will to live?
Like, the moment's like, she lost the will to live. I don't know what's happening. She's lost the will to live. And you're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, come on.
Come on, please.
Now, you know who I hope they bring in is Yoda's brother, Yo-Yo Da, who is a wonderful cellist as well as a Jedi Master.
I want Doda. Doda or Soda? Son of Yoda. Okay, let's stop with the puns.
Have any of you guys
Never.
watched any of the Star Wars cartoons that they've done? There was Clone Wars, which is all on Netflix now, and now there's Rebels, which is
I
still
haven't.
going.
I know Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to be a character on Rebels.
She premiered this week, I think.
I will watch that.
I'll have to check that out. I know Freddie Prinze is on there too, as a voice character.
Freddie Prinze, they got James Earl Jones back to play Vader, which is crazy.
Did they? Well, I mean, I feel bad for the guy who's the embodiment of Vader. I forgot the guy's name.
David Prowse.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I feel
he's on Facebook all the time, and everyone just hates on him. George Lucas wouldn't invite him to conventions because he's annoying. You might recognize him as that big guy that lifts the writer around in A Clockwork Orange.
Well, he was a before he got cast as Vader, he was a bodybuilder.
Yep.
So that's why people. And
To be fair, they could have told him.
And I think
He recorded all of the lines.
I was about to say but that could just be a placeholder until they replaced it with James Earl Jones.
Yes,
but like you
but
said,
he didn't know he was going to be replaced when he was reading all of the lines. To be fair, they could have told him beforehand that was the case.
so Kylo Ren, I don't know who's inside Kylo Ren, but
Well, obviously an actor.
no, obviously an actor. Oh,
Nope.
no, it's
Three
a robot.
kids in a trench coat.
That would be even better. I would love to see that, like the behind the scenes. I was like, because the trench coat.
Played by Vincent Adultman.
But no, I thought it was supposed to be some WWE wrestler was supposed to be inside Kylo Ren, and they have a different voice for him. But it's never been substantiated. I don't know if it's true or not.
The voice that we heard in the trailer, I think, is him. I actually thought it sounded kind of cool. It's like understated, kind of Darth Vader-esque without being too on the nose.
Yeah, I'm interested to see.
Does Darth Vader even have a nose?
Yeah, it's that weird flat bit.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's like a doggy nose.
Okay, new theory. Voldemort and Darth Vader. I don't have the rest of it, but it's something to do with those two.
They had I don't know. They had a son together. And his name is Kylo Ren. We're retconning our own,
Vader just needed some
Chad
Horcruxes.
Vader. Duh.
and that's what Kylo Ren's real name
Does
is.
Chad Vader
Chad.
hang out with Steve Lecter?
No, Chad Vader works at a grocery store.
Ah,
But does he hang out with Steve Lecter?
Probably.
Dr. Stephen Lecter.
Because Glenn, you weren't here for that part last week. I'm sorry.
I'm lost in the sauce, guys. I have no idea.
Well, what do you think about Star Wars?
Glenn looks like an Ewok right now. Happy with his face, eating each other. I don't know. Glenn just doesn't know.
I'm lost.
He's lost.
You know.
He's lost in space.
Space.
Literally. No, but for me, I'm excited about the movie. I think it's going to be good. I think after the prequels, I'm going to have lower expectations. The fact that not have such high expectations to get ruined by this movie,
I'm trying my best not to have any expectations.
because
That's my...
I think the prequels taught me, even the second and third one. Like the third one's okay, but I refuse to see that in the theater. Like I saw it in the theater, but don't remember. Like I must have blocked it out because I I just, after the second one, I just couldn't be like, so I didn't really remember. So when it came on DVD, I finally watched it, and there are some good bits in the third one.
Yeah. The third one's the least terrible.
There's still some terrible bits in the third one.
That's why I didn't say best. I said least terrible.
So, but you know, I'm excited for this. I think Marvel's doing a great job with the comics.
Definitely.
Shout out to everyone at Marvel. I don't know.
You're marvelous.
Hi, Marvel people.
Hi, Mr. President of Marvel.
But with Star Wars, we'll have to wait and see. And then you're gonna get the threads. Unfortunately, gonna get unbearable threads. Everyone's like, "Oh, I was right about this theory that I wrote out of my ass, and had no proof that this was the way it was." So it's interesting. So we have a new hope with the Force Awakens.
I'm going to edit that out.
Don't edit that out.
The weirdest thing for me, actually, is that there's still no 7 in the title.
Yeah, you'd think they'd work it in.
I think it's because they're afraid of being confused with 7.
Ah.
What's in the Death Star?
I would say what's in the box. It's Darth Vader's head. It was kept as a memento. It's kind of
What's in the
smelling.
helmet?
It's smelling now.
Is his head inside the helmet? We may never know.
I think it is.
Yeah, but it's also not Krause. It's Sebastian Shaw, right?
Yes.
Could be.
Yeah, that's the name of that guy.
Or
Sebastian Shaw, who
Even,
gets-
Or
even
it could
one
be-
time you actually show Vader's face, it's still not the guy in the Vader suit.
Why would we want to do that? But no, it'd be funny. It'll be Luke's head from that one scene, part of Return of the Jedi, when he fights the Darth Vader
No,
as himself.
let's be real. Let's be real. The thing in the box is a hand.
But whose hand?
Could be anyone's. Do you realize how many hands and arms get chopped off over the course of Star Wars?
Dude, you think the lightsaber should have a warning on them? You know, could lose a hand or finger. Something
It
should
doesn't
be on
matter
there.
if you're a droid. It doesn't matter if you're a Yeti creature. It doesn't matter. You're gonna lose an arm.
You're gonna lose an arm with that thing. You're gonna shoot your eye out. Oh man!
It's
with-
a Christmas story, but
Well, at least it's not Luke's aunt and uncle.
in the Force we trust. All others pay cash.
So the only thing we guaranteed is that Disney's going to make a huge ton of money off this movie, and be printing up Mickey Mouse dollars soon. I'd want those. That should be the new currency.
Happy
I think
money.
we're getting there. I think
I'd-
we're well on our way.
Hey, listen. I think we are. I think the next president's going to... If it's Trump, it's going to be faces of Trump. Different stages of Trump.
Different. More hair to less hair.
Yeah, it's like the one from like the 80s. And then
Comb
go-
back over to comb over.
And you're fired. That's how people get fired.
He's in that position, like giving you the snake.
I'm waiting for Rich to call and bring us back and be like, you're talking about politics again. He's not
I
doing
was
it.
enjoying it so much. It reminds me of my favorite Star Wars movie.
Which one was that, Rich?
Good segue.
So, Ritual, this is Rich's last episode since I found that out. This is the last time we were hearing from Rich. But,
Once, I swear to God, we were playing Hangman, and just out of the blank, series of letters, I knew, after looking at it for a little while, that Rich had handed me Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Everyone at the office was very impressed. I was less than impressed.
You're welcome.
I hate you.
Hey, which Star Wars movie is your least favorite?
anything before 4. All right, guys, and with that, we're done with our Star Wars talk. Again, the movie's coming out December 17th, and we're going to find out if Luke gave up the Force to join Comm College. That's
It's
my
a good
theory.
thing. It's a good thing that you plugged it, because otherwise no one would go see it.
Oh, yeah, no,
It
of
really
course.
needs all the advertising it can get.
Listen, Disney's paying us. Disney, send the check to us. Care of me. Again, I'll send the signature. I'll give the signature to Sheila after I cash the check. But yes. So, and with that, episode will close. Again, thanks for Joe Jeremiah for a little bit of 8-bit. I'm Ashish Thomas.
I'm Sheila O'Neill.
I'm Glen Wolfe.
I'm Rich Lynch.
You can find us at thegeekgods.com. See you later.
Bye.
Like can't see us at all.
They might be able to.
That'd be weird. My
Bye.
camera's covered with tape.
Yeah, Metachlorians.